Unreal.
Paul Skenes favored over Dylan Cruz to be number 1 pick in the draft. That's Philadelphia Inquirer.
I think the worm has turned here a little bit.
I don't know, but this is via DraftKings. Skenes is minus 195. Cruz is plus 140.
You're like me. You still don't know what that means, do you?
No, I just means it does mean he's a prohibitive favorite right now.
Right. And I would tend to agree.
You think he is the Pirates guy?
I do. And not necessarily because Cruz doesn't want to play here because of Scott Boras.
I don't believe that, first of all. I don't buy that.
I think they realize this kind of pitcher they can't get any other way but drafting him.
Have you seen anything definitive that Cruz would not play here?
No, I've just seen speculation coming. Well, Scott Boras is whispering this. I've not seen any official documentation.
Me neither. And I don't believe it. Like, what difference does it? Why would even Boras have a strong opinion either way? It's all slotted,
right?
And then either and then you go through arbitration,
right?
And then you go to free agency. That has nothing to do with the Pirates' willingness or lack thereof to pay him.
It would not scare me off at all.
Yeah, now, it's all slotted in.
I realize that I might not get to sign him to a second deal once he becomes a free agent.
Sure.
But Skenes, if he turns out to be a superstar, you're not going to sign him either.
Nope. But you're going to get 6 years out of him, or at least 5.
Right.
He's already 20. By the time he gets here, he'd be about 23. So he'd be close to 30.
Still a baby.
Man, I wish they would get him. I'll tell you that right now. He's the guy I want.
Get him, sign him, and get him up here.
Yeah, and get him up here. He's 21, actually. My bad. He just turned 21.
Oh, jeez.
So that would be my pick. How about you, Nene? Who are you going with?
Nene.
Here's Keith Law. Same thing. Let me read this now, because this is becoming more intriguing as the draft goes closer. And Keith Law, who knows a lot of people, has Skenes going to the Pirates.
Yeah.
When is the draft? It's like next week or week after?
July 9th, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's the day before the All-Star
I
game,
think.
right?
Don't quote me on that. What do you make of it, Folsey? You're right. It seems to be a turn here with people basically reporting that they think Skenes is going to the Pirates.
Yeah, and I feel like at first when we were talking about we were debating this, Cruz or Skenes, I remember talking to Jonathan Mayo when he came on with us, and he kind of first presented that it's going to be this debate as we get closer to the draft. And I think almost unanimously from people that I heard of at the time, they wanted the everyday player over the pitcher who was only out there every 5 days. But now as we've gotten closer to this thing, it's definitely more Skenes, and I think I'm one of them. I think when we were talking about it the other day, the idea, the dream of having that front 3 in your rotation to pair along with Skenes, to pair him up with Keller and with Priester, that's tantalizing.
I just think it's easier to find an outfielder than it is a stud pitcher.
I agree.
A stud pitcher just doesn't come around every year.
6'6", 247. Did either one of you get a chance to watch him pitch over the World Series?
I did not.
Did
I
you,
did
Folsey?
a little bit. Not as much as I wanted to, but
oh my God.
I saw one game against Tennessee had 46 100-mile-an-hour pitches.
It's unbelievable.
46.
Here's what Law wrote, and bear with me because it's a little bit here, but I think it's worth reading. Skenes pitched too much in Omaha, although I think LSU winning a laugh from Monday helped him significantly as he avoided the extra inflammation in his arm that would have come from pitching on short rest. There's a rumor that Cruz doesn't want to go to the Pirates for some reason, but I don't think that's going to alter their plans. They're going to try to strike the best overall deal considering the player and the bonus, since they have an extra pick at 67 and could try to replicate their 2021 draft success. So he's saying what others have said, that they think they can get Skenes for less money and then spend more of their allotment on other players. And they also have the 67 pick. I don't know if that's the best motivation, but I still think it's a good idea.
That's what they did with Henry Davis, right?
Yes.
He wasn't projected to be the number 1 pick.
is there a reason why he believes they can do that, though, with Skenes?
We were asking that the other day. Clearly, people think that Skenes will come cheaper than Cruz. I don't know why,
It's just because he's got a Boris?
I don't either.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
But people will jump on that, say the Pirates are being cheap. No, they're not. They're
being smart.
They're trying to. They have a certain amount of money to spend. They're going to spend it. So cheapness isn't it's an
And I
issue
don't
in
care.
general, but not here.
I don't care if they save money with Skenes. If he's the guy and he's a stud,
Right.
they can pay max value for him as
Sure.
far as I'm concerned.
I think so,
I'm not
too.
drafting him because I think he can be cheaper. I don't care about that. I guess it could benefit them to some degree. But if he's that good, I don't care what I got to pay him.
Me neither. But if he's that good, and we've all seen him.
I mean, he got power arm.
If he's that good, plus you get to spread out some more money and try to put together more of a class. And 67 that's a pretty high pick as well. God bless him for that. Now the scouting report. You ready for this? Keith Law, been around forever. Used to have him on a show on 1250 ESPN. In fact, I think I was the first person in the city who had him. Then he got too big for me.
So you discovered
him.
discovered him.
I did, but then he started giving me the Belfont
Oh,
snorkel.
you don't like that.
No. He snorkeled me real early, Keith Law. I still like him, though. Nice man. Scouting report. And I respect, more importantly, I really respect he used to work for the Blue Jays, his scouting ability. Let me read this, Fulsey. Skenes is the hardest throwing amateur starter I have ever seen, even beating out Hunter Green and Garrett Cole.
That's all I need to hear.
That's all I need to hear.
I don't even need any more than that.
You know what? Hearing that,
Line up at the ballpark, and can you imagine? There's going to be Strasburg-like fanfare around this guy's first start if he comes here.
Remember his first start against the Pirates? What did he strike out like 10?
Yes, I do.
10 and
yeah,
something,
the place was packed. They put the game on TV.
I remember that.
Remember who hit a homer off him? I just mentioned
Ooh.
this last week, and now I forgot.
Who hit the
Delwyn
home
Young.
run off of him?
Delwyn Young. You're exactly
That's
right,
right.
Fulsey.
Man, if you'd have asked me 100, if Delwyn, if he'd walked through here, I wouldn't know who he was.
Me neither, but he'll always have that. Listen to some more from Keith Law. When I saw Skenes pitch in April, he hit 100 or 101 miles an hour 7 times in the first inning and didn't throw a fastball under 96. After transferring from the Air Force Academy, where he sat at 92 to 95 as a sophomore, he's averaged 98 with an easy plus slider, helping him strike out more than 50% of the batters he's faced. He ain't in a soft league either,
Set
the last
the
I
SEC
checked.
record for strikeouts.
40 more strikeouts than any other pitcher in Division I. 40 more. His delivery compact, above average control, hides the ball well, Ron, behind the body. I know you value that.
I love guys that hide the ball.
So the 2 pitches he throws should continue to play well, even against better hitters.
I'll say it again.
Third pitch. If you're going into the draft hoping you can find a Justin Verlander type, he's your guy.
See, and
Thank you. Make the pick.
You got to take it.
Make the pick.
I'll say it again. Against Tennessee, 46 100-mile-an-hour pitches.
See, I do think the way that he throws the baseball does matter because I think that's what held back Steven Strasburg. That's why he had injuries. I don't know. I don't
You mean
remember.
mechanics.
The mechanics, yeah. I don't remember exactly what they called it, but it was something about the way that he threw the ball that put extra stress on his arm. That's why he's dealt with so many injuries. So I think that does matter. And there is part of me, maybe I'm just paranoid, but when you read off all of those stats about how hard he throws and he hit over 100 miles per hour so many times, man, I just think, how many more?
I
Or
know.
how much
Yeah,
stress?
you worry about the arm
How much
injuries.
stress is that putting on his arm? to do
Again,
that?
we talk about Strasburg. He helped them win a World Series, though.
With all kinds of problems before and after, but he helped them win. He was the
helped them
MVP.
win, right.
He was the World Series MVP. Dylan Cruz loves him. Says of Cruz, he could be in the majors by the end of 2024.
24.
Next
Thought
season.
he might be in the majors by 23.
Well, that'll be this season.
Right.
I wonder when he thinks Skenes could be in the majors. Can
See,
you
the
imagine
problem
if it
is-
was this year?
Didn't Pedro go down to like the deadline?
11:59:59.
And he was
literally.
He was a Boris guy.
There was the complaint by his people that the Pirates signed him after the deadline. Remember?
So that's the thing too with Skenes. You know, they're going to end up signing him. You would think, but I mean, is it going to take a month? You know, then he's going to have to build up his arm again. You know, chances of him being here this year, I would think, are still
I
slim.
think he's the Pirates' Game 1 starter against the Braves, Ron. Playoffs.
In the playoffs
This year.
This year.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
They'll ride the momentum of picking Skenes and make a run.
Let me read that one more time, just the one line.
Just the first line.
Skenes says Keith Law did it at the professional level with the Blue Jays. And talking about baseball, scouting amateurs for probably 30 years, 25 years. Skenes is the hardest throwing amateur starter I have ever seen, even beating out Hunter Green and Garrett Cole. Thank you. Good night. Ben Cherington,
Our
step
pick.
to the podium and say his name.
Let Eddie Johnston come in and make the pick.
I'm all for it. I'm signed up for it.